2009 in the Premier League was the last time Blackburn beat Burnley at Ewood Park. But does that all change this weekend as the UK's hottest derby returns to Ewood Park? Welcome to Where Rovers Walk. We've got Mark, Tom and Jason to discuss and preview the hottest ticket in town in Lancashire this weekend. Happy New Year to you all. Hope you're all well. We've also got a Burnley fan waiting in the wings to come and chat to us this week as well. Stand by for that. Welcome, of course, to Where Rovers Walk. Drop us a subscribe if you're just finding the channel. It's the preview of the Burnley game, Mark. Are you excited for this one or a little bit nervous?
Oh, I'm very nervous. I think it's been building up that last few days. I've just all I've been thinking about, and I've been forgetting there's other games. Like obviously with the whole game yesterday, I've got Leeds on New Year's Day. But yeah, I must admit it's a bit of everything: excitement, nerves. I can't wait for it now. To be honest, just bring it on, just get it on, and. But yeah, we have got a game before that as well, haven't we? So we've got to obviously try and get something from Wednesday as well. So, but yeah, I'm a bit probably even more nervous after yesterday's result, to be honest. But yeah, we'll have to see how we go.
We'll get to that in a second. Jason just talked to us about what it's like as a Rovers fan waking up on Derby Day for the game at Ewood Park. What does it do to you?
Well, what time do we kick off? 12:30. So I'll be up about 2:00 in the morning. Getting my clothes, laying my shirt out, and like you do, ironing your socks or whatever you do. No, it's. I find it, and I'm 41. I need to grow up, but I find it hard to sleep the night before I do. It's especially lately they're not coming around as often as they used to. So this is the first one since a couple of years now. So it's because they're not coming around as often. It gets you more excited when it's finally on the horizon. I think it's the nerves. Like Mark said, I'm both of the above. I'm excited and I'm nervous. The fact that it's going to be a sold-out crowd is making me more nervous because there's more expectation on. I'm expecting us to get a result. I am. I thought we were brilliant at their place. So I'll be up early. So yeah, I'll be up ironing my socks and my underpants.
Recent history, Tom, doesn't dictate it's going to go well for Blackburn, though. Let's have a look at this.
I know.
Not, as we mentioned at the start, not since 2009 in the Premier League was the last time you got a win over Burnley. They are heading to your place potentially for 5 wins in a row. What would you put that down to, Tom, their recent dominance over you? Because before 2009, it was all you in this fixture.
I think, in all honesty, it's the money as well. Money from the Premier League coming down, because again, we've been out to the Premier League now for 12 years, and those parachute payments quickly wore off. And obviously, Burnley have had a lot of money injected into the club through parachute payments going up and down back into the Premier League. So they're going to attract a higher quality of player. And they're one of the favourites to go up every single time they come down. Sometimes, I don't know as well, it's maybe the occasion can get to some of the players. Not all the players necessarily know the history behind the game or what it means to the fans. But I think this season, as we just touched on before, I think both teams are in really strong positions. And it's going to be a hard one to call on the weekend. And I don't think Blackburn are going to get turned over by any means. I think Burnley are very confident, rightly so. They've been really well at the moment, but then so are we. We should be confident as well. I don't think we're going to lose another game. Sorry, I can't see it being 5 games in a row, because we are definitely due a win. Because, like you said, 2010 was the last time we actually got a result against Burnley. I think the players are going to be right up for it. I think John Eustace will have his tactics spot on, hopefully, and I think he'll have the players well drilled. And I think the players have now, in that squad, have done a couple of these games now, so they should know what it means to the fan base. And I think the fact, like Jason just said, we're going to have close to 30,000 fans at Ewood Park, which is going to be the biggest attendance in something like 6 years. I think that'll be the 12th man and could be the real driving factor to get the boys up for it and get us over the line.
Okay. Mark, recent results against Sunderland and Hull haven't gone your way, so you're probably heading into not the greatest of form as you have liked. We see on recordings before the Leeds result. What's gone wrong, particularly defensively in those games?
I mean, obviously, the amount of games in a short space of time, and listen, that's the same for every other club. I think what it's highlighted more these last couple of games is that how big this January transfer window is for us. We are still short. The squad is thin, and I think the last couple of games have proved that. And again, we've got another quick game on Wednesday, and then obviously the big one on Saturday. So the games are coming thick and fast. So probably a bit of Rovers did look a bit leggy yesterday. I think tiredness. As I said, it's no excuses. Every team's got to play the same amount of games in a short space of time. But we're probably. I think it's just the lack of depth that we've got, and I think we're again with 2 or 3 players probably short, and I think a couple of the players that are out injured as well at the minute. I think especially Travis not being available for us. I don't think we can underestimate how big of a loss he actually is in that team, the way he drives us on.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the team that started against Hull, Jason, shall we? Talk us through what you would change here, if anything. And obviously we don't know who will be exactly available given injuries and suspensions, but what would you do to start against Burnley? Don't forget, a Burnley team that don't concede many either.
Yeah, I don't think Gay's the answer. I think we need pacing behind. I think we do better against teams that come at us. So I think we need pace. I think Zaroury, is he inexperienced? Too inexperienced for such a big game, big atmosphere. Edges didn't get any minutes at all yesterday, which makes me think he's going to start. So I think Edges will come in for Zaroury. I expect Dolan to start. Cantwell. I think Olashi will start up front. Possibly why he didn't start yesterday. I think he'll go for pace and balls in behind. Burnley are going to bring the game to us. It's just what they do. And I think balls over. I think long ball and knocking it into a big fella up front to try. I don't think that's going to work. I think we're going to have to try and pass through him, pretty much like we did against Sunderland in the first half. Pass it to him, quick 1-2s. Either that's the sort of. So I think other than that, I'd probably leave it the same. Britton gives us more pace down that right side, so I'd leave him in there because when we played Burnley away, they ripped us apart down both wings. Beck worries me a little bit. I thought he got caught against Sunderland quite a lot, and I think he's going to be up against another good winger. So again, I think with Pickering out, we've no choice. That's probably would have been my change. He's Pickering the advert. I think he gives us more stability defensively. But then I think Edges gives us that as a winger. He provides a lot of cover at the back. So I think Edges it will definitely come in. I think Zaroury will drop out. I'd like to see Leonard started, to be honest. Give him something they've not seen much of. The guy is a Blackburn lad. He'll play with his, he'll play with his heart and his pace. He's the only natural goal scorer we have at the club. Because whether he's 20 years old or not, he is the only natural goal scorer we have at that club. And he may be the answer to the striker problem if he can stay fit.
Okay.
For me, but
right. Thanks for Jason. Let's bring in a Burnley fan. As you know, we are across all 24 teams across the Terrace Talk network. So of course we have a rival station called Where Clarets Walk, and Jordan from there has very kindly agreed to come on and have a chat with us this week. So hello, Jordan. Welcome to the enemy lines. How are you?
Hey, Jordan.
Tom. It's Tom's turn to get back at me. Come on,
Tom. Jordan, I mean, obviously I'm an Everton fan, and they obviously the Merseyside derby is a friendly derby. Is this a friendly derby where you can all go back to work with each other the next day and it's all games, or is this a fierce one?
No, it's not. Well, no, it's friendly in that per se. You can quite easily work with an opposing fan. I've done it plenty of times, but it's not friendly. Like, you will go out your way just to banter that person. But honestly, you can't wait. Like, you're itching. And if you win that game, they're not hearing the end of it until the next one comes around and there's another turn. It's really one of them. But in friendly, in the sense of you don't want to see anything untoward. But certainly not in the bantering. No, it's not friendly.
We know that, Jordan. We've had 2 years of it on Twitter. No way, we know that.
Jordan, Burnley in good shapes going into this, a draw at Borough, and of course a win at Sheffield United, which no one's managed to do yet. So you must be pretty confident going into this one to get your 5th win in a row at Ewood.
I'll be honest with you, I mean, you can laugh at me if you want, but I'm always the optimistic with being a Burnley. You don't sit there in the freezing cold watching you lose a Colchester, do you? If you're not going to be an optimistic fan. So I've been there through the thick and thin. So I go into every game with massive optimism. I think the derby, I go into it more because I want the players on the pitch to feel the kind of passion I feel. And if they do feel that on the day, and I say again, Blackburn could be on an awful run of form, and I think Tom mentioned it means nothing. If the passion is there, the boys turn up, and it's a really good game. So yeah, no, it's a big one.
Jordan, is it fair to say that in the reverse fixture you didn't really turn up, and Blackburn were the better team at Turf Moor?
Is you going to pay me to say this, boys? It really is. So I hope you know how much this takes. Right? Now I've had this with a few. Dolan's goal weren't offside, so we did it. Let's have it right, and that pains me to say. I mean, maybe we get back for David Dunn for all them years, but that's not the point, is it? Sorry, what was the question again? I went off tangent.
I think you've answered it. With Blackburn the better side, clearly you're saying yes.
No, I don't think. No, I don't think it were a thing of a better side, but I think it was where we hadn't. I mean, for 3 of the players that stepped on that pitch had never put a Burnley shirt on before. I do think it were a side of that. I do think the Blackburn did come with. I really didn't see you doing anything, and when we scored in the first 10 minutes, I really thought, oh, here we go again, 3-0. But you proved me wrong on that day, and there were times where you'll agree yourself. I've never felt panicked by you for the past few years, definitely. But in the last game, there were times thinking, bloody hell, we could lose here. So they come with a bit more fierce.
I think the difference is this year as well, Jordan, with Blackburn as well, is that in recent seasons, when we go behind, we tend to sit back and just collapse, and it could be like a cricket score. We can get pumped. I think under John Eustace, he's got his tactics spot on the majority of the season, really, whereby we can see games out. We come from behind. We're not scared to concede and then panic. The game plan won't change, and we'll just keep going and attack and believe in our ability to score a goal. The team has changed massively, I think, over the last couple of years in how we play. I mean, Travis, as we were saying earlier, it's going to be a huge loss for Blackburn. I think he's the real engine in that midfield. I know Tronstad has stepped up as a captain and he's doing his part, but I think he is going to be he's like our talisman. And I think without him in the team, it's a massive gap in midfield, which you might exploit, because I don't think Baker is anywhere near the levels of Travis. And I'm a big fan of John Buckley, but he's not had enough game time of late. So I think it's going to be Baker, it's going to be Travis, it's going to be sorry, I think it'll be the same midfield as on yesterday. But who knows what will happen?
Well, it's funny you say that, and I'm glad you have now. I'm not somebody to read massively into Blackburn, like I presume you lot don't read a lot into us. It's not on your pastime. But now you said that one of your best playmakers is out. I can see that being a game run by Josh Cullen, and he can run a midfield on his own when you have your best player on. So to say you don't, it's just filled me with confidence, because Cullen can pull strings and he's a passionate player, so I think he will.
I think we need someone like Campwell, who is one of our best players as well, to step up a bit, and like Dolan, because these two have got bags of ability, but they're not scoring enough goals. And I think if they can get more of an end product and share the goals out, because we're relying on 1 or 2 players to score, and as Jason and Mark will attest to go every single week, we haven't got enough goal scorers in the team at the moment, and if we can't score enough consistently with our strikers. And as Jason said, Leonard is our only natural goal scorer, who's only just come up from a 7-month off injury. So where the goals are going to come from, I don't know.
He's the only one that worries me. He's Dolan. I'll say that now. He's the only player that worries me. Last time I saw him, he was fast, he was quick, and he looked like he had a bit about him. He was the only one that worried me.
Playing for a new contract, isn't he? Cheers for that, Rose. Mark, just the last one. So last time, Gay, of course, saw red in this fixture. Do you think, have you seen enough from him to say he's calmed down and learned from that hot-headedness?
Yeah, I think he's calmed down. I definitely. I don't think I can't remember any instances recently where he's shown that petulance or anything like that. So I think he's definitely learned that side of it. Just need him to get into a bit of form now and bag a few goals. And if he can pop up with one on Saturday, fantastic. He can go off again for me and get another red card as long as he gets another goal. So I don't care what he does. But yeah, no, he definitely learned that side of it, I think, yeah.
Okay. As we mentioned, it's 2009 since Blackburn beat Burnley, so we thought we'd have a bit of fun and have a look at the teams from that particular day. You will remember the goal scorers. The older Rovers fans amongst you will certainly remember Dunn, DeSanto, and Pascal Chimbonda scoring scoring all in the first half of this one. Just looking at that lineup, Jason. Yeah, that was a decent Blackburn side, wasn't it?
It's probably the last time we had one, to be fair. El Hadji Diouf, I tell you what, that guy could start a fight in the room on his own, couldn't he?
Absolutely.
He was. Do you know, he did well for us, though. We had a decent side back then, to be fair. It's that long ago. I remember a lot's happened in that time, Mark. A lot's happened.
Yeah.
The Venkies happened.
Yeah, Mark, can you? I mean, looking at that, can you believe that was the last time you watched your team beat your neighbours?
It's quite it's a bit frightening, really, and yeah, I mean, to be honest, that game. Now I'm looking at it, I remember it like it was yesterday, and but yeah, when you're saying it like that, where that's last time we've won, and Ewood, it's like, oh yeah, that's we need to do something about that. We need to change it, and if we can get a win on Saturday, I don't care what's happened previously, it will. The bragging rights will be ours, but yeah, there's some names on there. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that's some time, isn't it? So yeah, we need to put that right on Saturday.
Jordan, I won't ask you if you remember this Burnley side because you'd be what,
I do.
6 years old, 7 years old, something like that.
No, I was 9, and I do remember that game.
I mean, crikey, players like Tyrone Mears, Wade Elliott, Robbie Blake. Goodness me.
There is not one player in that starting 11, apart from maybe David Nugent, that isn't a Burnley legend in my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got the beast, Brian Jensen. I'd do with that big man in there any time of day.
Okay. All right then. Thank you very much, Jordan. We'll let you head off. Good luck good luck from the neutrals anyway. Not from this one. Thanks, Jordan.
Cheers, Jordan.
Cheers, Jordan.
There has been a bit of winding up going on from social media. This was put out by Rovers One saying Burnley have only beaten Blackburn 5 times in 56 years. Doesn't matter that those 5 times have been in the last 10 years. 620 days since Burnley's. I mean, I'm presuming this was a bit tongue in cheek, but it had some spice to it, doesn't it, Tom?
Oh, I think it's brilliant. I mean, I saw you tag me in this, and I hadn't seen it before. And I was looking at some of the stats there, thinking we're clutching at straws a little bit with some of these dates and some of these figures. But yeah, I saw straight away a lot of the Burnley fans on Twitter were biting, and it was obviously, like you said, a bit tongue in cheek. Sometimes I know you have to live a bit in the past. Sometimes we live in the glory days, but I think this season, as we said before, it's a new era. We've got to be positive. I think something could change. It's going to be a full house at Ewood Park. I think it's going to be the biggest crowd I've been to at Ewood since I went and saw the Blackburn Liverpool game in 2014. So, and I'm bringing my wife along, and she can't wait to come along to the game. So, yeah, hopefully it'll be a good atmosphere for us.
Brilliant. Okay. Like one last thing, our Watford fans and Luton fans are unhappy because their derby has gone back to being a bubble fixture, Jason, where the coaches, Watford fans can only get to Kenilworth Road this year on a coach. We don't want to head back to that, do we? So whilst this is a derby, we do want everyone to enjoy it responsibly because we'd hate for this to go back to those days, wouldn't we, where you can only get to Turf Moor on a coach?
Yeah, that's it. I think I was talking to a Sunderland fan who I work with first time I've seen since we played. We were talking about the game and stuff, and then he mentioned the derby to me when you've got the big one coming up, and he was talking about that's how Newcastle and Sunderland have been, and he said it's not nice, it's not a good experience. It's that you feel like a sheep being just move from one place to another. You watch the game straight out in the coach back. And he said it just ruins the experience. So we don't want that. You want it to be where people can get to the game by themselves, enjoy the atmosphere around the stadium in the fan zone, have a chat, talk. I like the fact that the fan zone at Rovers, and then he's probably saying at other stadiums, where away fans and home fans mix. No trouble. They all stand there watching the game on the TV, having a pint. You see some talking to each other. I think it's great, and that we need to keep that. That's what football is. You know, that's what football is. Football's not about getting filtered into a stadium, filtered out, and it's not. I don't like the thing I don't like about the Burnley game is the amount of police street cordoned off. I don't like that. It's not a nice thing to be part of. It's daunting. So I understand why it's done, obviously. So if we can keep it as free as possible, where fans can make their own way to the ground, mill around the ground as much as they like, even better. But yeah, it needs to stay like that. But that's in the fans' hands, and we have to behave ourselves for that to happen.
I think in recent years, these games are generally quite safe because you can't get anywhere near each other because of the police presence and all the horses and everything. So, you know, it is quite a safe game to go. Like I said, it's very daunting to go to. And you see all the still shots and the images of what's happened in the past. And it's very tribal, as you know, football can be. And there are a few idiots out there that want to cause trouble. But I think the heavy police presence, I think, means that you can get nowhere near the Burnley fans anyway if you wanted to cause any issues. So in that sense,
I think it is policed very well, to be fair. I think that is one thing you will say. I think it's one of the better police derbies. I mean, it was the first time we played them for a while last time at Ewood Park. I didn't see any sign of trouble at all. I felt safe walking from the ground to the ground. That's how it should be. And I know this. The Blackburn Burnley rivalry goes beyond football. It goes back many, many, many years. But at the end of the day, when all said and done, it's a game of football, and we should all be able to go and just enjoy it. For me,
Absolutely, certainly well said. It's one of the world's or one of the UK's oldest derbies, of course. Let's get your score predictions then just before we finish. Mark, you go first.
I knew you were going to ask this today, and I don't know. I think I've changed my mind that many times. I'll be honest with you. I don't see many goals at all in this game. I think it will. The game will suit us a bit if they come and play to us. And I think we'll try and keep it as solid as we can. They don't concede many goals at all, and the fact that they've just been to Sheffield United and Middlesbrough and kept 2 clean sheets, it's a big ask. I'm actually going to go for 0-0. I honestly think it'll be that tight. I think Rovers will want to try and get a 1-0. I think Burnley will be certainly happy with another 1-0 at Ewood. And I just think it's just one of the games that, similar to the run at Turnbull, just don't want to get beat. And so I'm actually going to go for 0-0 with this.
Okay. All right. Good shout. Tom?
Like what Mark said, I'm going to echo a bit about that. I think it'll be a very tight game. Like I just said on the Burnley podcast prior to this, I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be a score draw, perhaps. I think we will concede. But I think we've got enough ability on that pitch to just cause a problem in front of goal. So I think it'll be a tight 1-1 draw.
Okay. Jason?
Echo what Mark said. I think Burnley's recent results are a real statement. The Sheffield United win is a real statement now. So I'm going to go 2-1 Rovers. I think a late goal. I think it's going to be 1-1. It's going to be close, and I think it could go either way. To be fair, 2-1 either way late on, but obviously I'm going to go Rovers 2-1. Harry Leonard come on, 80th minute, bang, there you go.
Okay.
That will go off the Blackburn end if that happens.
They'll all be on pitch.
Right, let us know, of course, in the comments your experience of this derby. Let us know your favourite moments, of course, as well. And let us know your score predictions as well. And Jason, it could be a fantastic weekend, of course, for you, because I believe you're actually with Grandad for the first time as well. So congratulations.
I think
to
I'm a
you.
granddad now. I've just seen a text come through from my daughter's mother
Congratulations.
saying
Yeah,
that was stressful. So I think that means it's over with and it's done. So I think I'm a granddad now. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, right. You have to name it. You have to name the child, if it's a boy, after the first goal scorer on Saturday. That's the deal.
How does Ewood say? Yeah. Well, should we just call it Ewood and I'm done with it? I'll give her a ring
Not
now.
a bad shout. Yeah. Congratulations, mate. Right. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, join us again in 7 days' time, where we'll review it all again. A happy New Year to you all. Enjoy the Leeds game, and
you
definitely
too.
enjoy the derby.
Cheers,
All right.
guys.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks, guys. Nice one.
See you Saturday, boys.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.